Hello. Pittsburgh City Leaders say it is past time for the region to have a disparity study. We'll talk to a city leader about when that study will be done and what it could reveal. And an annual festival combines great food with great music for this year's A Soulful Taste of the Burgh. We'll talk to the organizer and a celebrity chef judge. Plus, the final play in August Wilson's Century Cycle is on stage outside the August Wilson House. We'll talk to the director and some of the actors from Radio Golf. So pull up a chair and meet us at the corner. Intersection starts right now. Hello, I'm Lisa Smith, the Director of Community Impact at KDKA+, and the host of Intersections. Many municipalities have a process in place to encourage contracts with minority, women, disabled, and LGBTQ-owned businesses. But there may need to be a reset for several entities here, including the City of Pittsburgh. Here to explain how they plan to do that is Felicity Williams. She's the Deputy Chief of Staff for the Mayor's Office. Welcome to Intersections.
Thank you, Lisa. Happy to be here joining you today.
Yeah. So explain for us, for maybe a lot of people may not be familiar with what a disparity study is. What exactly is that?
Absolutely. So first, a disparity study really looks at an analysis of what minority, women, veteran, disadvantaged, LGBTQ plus owned businesses are available, ready, and willing to do business with all of the participating partners in this region. The second piece of this is really a comprehensive analysis looking at whether there has been any previous or current discrimination, bias, or disadvantages that those businesses have experienced in their efforts to do business with us as public entities.
Yeah. So do these businesses have to be certified? I know there's a lot of some areas they require certification. Does the city require certification? I think the state probably requires certification. How does that part work?
So the city does not have its own certification program. We currently utilize the state certification program, but in order to count towards those participation goals, a business does have to be certified with the state. Now, you can still participate on a contract irrespective of that, but it would not count towards those participation goals.
So the city and several other, the county, you guys have come together and are planning to have this study. So why is the study needed?
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about the fact that this is the largest consortium in recent history of public entities coming together. The last time this study was completed was over 20 years ago, with only 5 public participating entities, using data from 1996 to 1998. That really underscores one of the reasons why this is so important that we update our study. The study that we are doing now has 7 participating public entities, so including the city, the county, Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority, the Housing Authority, the URA, the Parking Authority, and the Stadium Authority. Since the last study was not completed for over 20 years ago, we are using, as I said, very outdated data to inform the programs and policies that help create that economic inclusion led by public entities for our region. And so one of the core pillars of the mayor's vision has been about creating a city in which everyone has an opportunity to thrive. In order to do that, we need to do this data analysis. We need to analyze our current and existing programs and use that to inform our future direction. There are some places where we as public entities are doing very well at including diverse businesses and participation, and there's certainly some places where there's areas of growth as well.
Yeah. So there's also another reason, right, why these studies are necessary because of a Supreme Court ruling. So that's why you really have to have that current data. Explain why that ruling kind of determines the need for the study.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, we are also required by city code to do one of these every 5 years. So we are obviously out of compliance with that, and why it is important for us to get into compliance with city code. In addition, as you mentioned, there have been a number of challenges across the country to diversity DEI programs, right? And so one of the things that is really important in order for us to continue these types of programs, these race or gender conscious programs that really address the historic disadvantages is to have current data that shows that our programs are narrowly tailored to that current data. The legal analysis is called strict scrutiny at the Supreme Court level. And so that is what we want to ensure, that we are maintaining those current data analysis and those current data records to comply with that.
Yeah. So you're looking for someone to perform this study, so that's where the bid process comes into play. So kind of walk us through, where we are you've already announced that you're looking for companies to do the work. What happens next?
So the bid is now open. It is publicly available. We are in the process of recruiting and soliciting vendors to apply and respond to that. There are a few key steps coming up in that process. So there will be what we call a pre-bid meeting on August 29th. This is something that we have also adopted a new policy around in our efforts to create this environment of economic inclusion, where we now require pre-bid meetings for certain city contracts, and so this being one of them. A pre-bid meeting is really a phenomenal opportunity for people who are interested in doing this work, in doing this study, to come to learn more, ask questions, get an overview presentation from us about the opportunity. The bids will close on October 1st, so you have to make sure that you have submitted your bid by then if you are interested. And from there, we look to review the vendors that have submitted. We would make a selection, go through an authorization at City Council to enter into a contract, and only then, once we've entered into a contract, can the work actually begin. So we're looking for this work to probably begin in 2025.
Okay, so 2025, so that would be sometime next year.
Yes.
Is this a nationwide search? Because I know there are some experts across the country that do this kind of work. I'm not sure what we have here locally or here in Pennsylvania.
While we would always love to see a local vendor working with us, this is an opportunity that is open to any and all eligible businesses, whether that is local or nationwide. So we come one, come all. Please, if you are interested, apply for this opportunity.
Yeah. You mentioned that the code says like every 5 years this is supposed to be done. Do you know why it hasn't been done? And then also, is there anybody who oversees, how the city is doing in terms of making sure that some of these contracts are going to minority-owned or women or LGBTQ businesses?
So I will say that I can't speak to why previous administrations have not completed a disparity study. What I can say is that us coming into office, we are very serious about using data to inform our policies and decisions, and so we felt it was important that we move forward with this. As it relates to the second question that you asked me, yes, we have an Office of Business Diversity that is within the mayor's office. There's a team of 3 led by Chuck Durham, who is the manager of that office, and they are largely responsible for supporting diverse business participation on city contracts, and then reviewing those city contracts, staffing our city's Equal Opportunity Review Commission, who signs off on those contracts before they go before City Council, and then monitors compliance once those vendors are selected.
Okay, and then super quickly, does the city have goals for what a percentage is for minority vendors or percentage for women-owned? How does that work?
Absolutely. So that is one of the important things about this study. The goals that we have are based off of 1996 to 1998 data. In addition, they are very flat. Irrespective of what type of industry, whether it's construction, it's IT, we have the same set goals. So those goals are 18, 7, 5, and 3. 18 for MBEs, 7 for WBEs, 5 for veteran-owned businesses, and 3% for LGBTQ plus owned businesses. And so we are meeting some of those goals in some places, and in some places we're not. And so part of what we will get out of this study, what is a benefit, is better informed goals that are not just flat, but are based on the different types of industries, the different types of sectors that we procure goods and services for.
Okay, well, thanks so much for being with us and explaining all of that. We'll be definitely watching to see how everything progresses. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Well, coming up, get ready for music and food at a Soulful Taste of the Burgh. We'll tell you what's new this year next on Intersections. Well, bragging rights will be on the line Labor Day weekend for the best mac and cheese and the best barbecue. This year marks the 5th year for a Soulful Taste of the Burgh, which features more music, more vendors, and of course, more food. Joining us now are William Marshall, the event organizer from Stop the Violence Pittsburgh, and also from New Orleans, Chef Dee Levine, owner of Delightful Roux School of Cooking in New Orleans, and she is going to be a celebrity chef for the food competition. Welcome both of you to Intersections.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for having
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Bee, tell us a little bit about this year's event. I know there's a lot more happening this year, but what's new this year?
So what's actually new this year is probably the level of vendors that we're going to have. We're going to have over 100 vendors. Right now, we got about 50 food businesses signed up for the event, which is why we had to bring in Chef Dee. And it's the expansion of it. We're going to expand a little bit more on the Boulevard of Allies, and we want everybody to come out and have a great time.
Yeah, so you mentioned Chef Dee, and you know, we want to talk a little bit about this competition. Like, this competition is pretty legendary at this point. First of all, why have a competition around the mac and cheese and the barbecue?
Well, we decided to do those particular food items because they're like a staple in our community and really centered around soul food. So we thought that was the best thing to really highlight our Soul Food Festival with the mac and cheese and the barbecue contest, because Black people are known for those type of food items.
Yeah. So, Chef Dee, let's pull you in here. You're going to be a celebrity judge for this competition. What do you look for when you are judging mac and cheese and when you are judging barbecue?
So mac and cheese is a tricky one. The ingredients are very simple, but easy to mess up. I'm definitely looking for something really creamy. I need a really, really great bite on that pasta. I want something that when I smell it, I want to eat it before I smell it. There's a couple of other criteria, but I can't give all the secrets away. But definitely something flavorful, really, really creamy, and incredible. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And then with the barbecue, I think we talked earlier, you said something about the smoke. You really got to taste the smoke.
Yeah, I want to taste a little bit of that smoke. That's what barbecue is all about. I mean, sometimes, of course, we go the short way and put things in the oven, and that's fine. I'm not judging anyone for that, but definitely I'm looking for a little bit of that southern smoke on this barbecue.
Now, is there a special way that, you know, a New Orleans way that people approach their mac and cheese or approach their barbecue?
I would say yes, but again, just like anything else, it depends on who taught you and where you grew up. You know, I think that's one of the best things about African American cuisine and culture is it's really something that's been passed down. And I mean, even to this point, I cannot tell anybody's grandma that they're doing it wrong. But it's one of those things that you know what you like and you eat and make what you like. But definitely there is some nuance to making sure that we follow some certain standards when we're doing mac and cheese.
Yeah. So, Bee, you know, when we were talking earlier, we talked about how there's going to be more food. So part of that more involves more vendors, more food vendors, more types of food, right?
Correct. So what we do is we're not exclusionary. We also bring in everybody. So we have Asian food vendors. We'll have some Greek food vendors. There's going to be African food vendors. So it's a variety of food and a variety of people coming down, because when we do this down in downtown Pittsburgh, it's open for everybody. We get a nice mixture, a multicultural crowd that comes in there, and everybody might not want soul food. So we try to make it welcoming to everybody.
Yeah. What about the performers? I know you have a huge lineup of performers who are going to be doing the music during the weekend. Tell us about some of them.
Yeah, so along with our, we always try to highlight our local talent. Along with our local talent, we're going to bring in some national celebrity acts. And on Friday, we're kicking it off with, people will know the artist Tweet, and we'll have FLY, they're the swag surfing dudes. On Saturday, it's going to be old school night. That's going to be Keith Washington and Ronnie Laws. and then we're going to close it out on Sunday with 7th Streeter and Jadakiss. So we're looking for a fantastic crowd to come in.
All right, and then also we have a map that we can show that shows like the areas where people will be, like Market Square is one area, and where will people be?
So that's very important to follow this map, this guideline. So inside of Market Square, we're going to have our cultural vendors and idol vendors and clothing vendors. But on the Boulevard of Idolize will be all the food vendors, and that's where our entertainment stage is going to be.
Okay, and then I saw there's a white party as well.
So after the show, it always got to be after party. So we're going to have an after party Sunday night over at the convention center. Tickets are still available right now. The Locks, Jadakiss, Styles P, and a couple other people will be showing up for the after party.
All right. Well, Chef D, we're looking forward to seeing you here in Pittsburgh.
Most definitely.
Excited. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for joining us from New Orleans, joining us here in studio, and we look forward to Labor Day weekend for the Soulful Taste of the Burgh. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, coming up next, one of August Wilson's final plays about a man who wants to be Pittsburgh's first black mayor. It hits the stage. That's next on Intersections. Radio Golf is the 10th play in August Wilson's Century Cycle. It has a plot that may seem very familiar, and it's being performed here in Pittsburgh outside of Wilson's childhood home. Here to tell us more about Radio Golf are Monte Russell, director of the play, along with actors Roosevelt Watts Jr. and Rich Dixon. Welcome all of you to Intersections.
Thank you. Thank you.
So did it take a lot, Monte, to get you to sign on? I mean, you kind of do a lot of, you've done plenty of August Wilson, but doing it here in Pittsburgh again, what did it take for you to say yes?
One thought, and that's yes.
Yeah.
I'd love to come home and work and show off my my craft.
Yeah.
And it's a responsibility I take very seriously.
Yeah.
So any chance I get offered to work in Pittsburgh, I come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about Radio Golf and the plot and all these different, there's so many similarities within this plot, but tell us a little bit about it.
It's Wilson's exploration of the black middle class. You have Harmon Wilkes, a highly successful real estate developer who has grand designs to rebuild, revitalize, regenerate the Hill District by bringing in Whole Foods, Starbucks, Barnes & Noble, state-of-the-art apartment buildings. He's at the same time using that success to announce his candidacy for mayor. He's partnered with his college buddy, Roosevelt Hicks, who is the vice president of Mellon Bank, and Harmon's wife is a superstar PR agent who's also his campaign manager. So all those plans are stalled by residents of the Hill District, including Sterling, who's from the play Two Trains Running, and Old Joe, who's a descendant of some of the characters from Gem of the Ocean. So it kind of gives it a nice mini-series kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know, the new one speaks to the old one, you know, things of that nature.
Yeah, that it makes you want to watch all of them, really.
Yes.
You know, go see them all.
Yes.
So, Roosevelt, tell us a little bit about Harmon Wilkes and that character. We heard a little bit, but you know, what do you do to kind of bring him to life?
I actually did Radio Golf in 2014 with a Black Theater Troupe in Phoenix, and I played Sterling. So that was my introduction to August Wilson, honestly, that particular play. And I saw another brother do Harmon Wilkes, and I was like, okay, this guy, right? So for me to get casted in this role this time, I knew it was a huge undertaking. And him being a redevelopment, you know, real estate guy, and then running for mayor in politics and giving the air of politics today, and a lot of the community work I also do, I just take my real life experience and then just my appreciation for August Wilson's writing, and being able to live and experience the Hill District. I just add all of that to it, and then the direction from Monte is just like the cherry on top to help me go deeper into what August wrote.
Yeah. So, Rich, how about you? Your character, you're Roosevelt. the character.
Roosevelt Hicks.
Yeah, tell us about him.
Well, so as Monte said, Roosevelt Hicks is Harmon's college roommate, and he might not be the most liked character. I'll let the audience choose when they decide when they get there. But he's a businessman, and he's willing to get the job done. He just wants to get the job done. They have a plan, and he wants to get it done.
Yeah.
And, he's focused. Some people may not like some of his methods or whatnot, but he's there to get a job done.
Yeah.
And but just to kind of piggyback off of what Roosevelt said here, Montez, by him directing this, he's really helped me to, because this is my first August Wilson play.
Okay.
These guys, Monte has done all 10 of them. So, for him to kind of shed light on just the different emotions that align with the characters, that has helped me tremendously to really dive into Roosevelt Hicks as a character. So, and it's been fun. We've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work, a lot of obstacles, but I think everybody will enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well,
it definitely looks great, and we want to make sure that everybody has all the information about the play and where it is. It's going to be going on through September 14th. You have performances on Fridays and Saturdays, Thursdays, Saturday afternoons, multiple opportunities to see this play. And it's most of them are going to be outdoors. Monte, just real quickly as we're leaving, the significance of it being right there outside the house.
With all August Wilson plays, I mean, there are references to people who are still alive, real life heroes, the vibe of Pittsburgh. So it's a personal responsibility for me to make sure that all of those things are emphasized. And it's real life, but by the same token, it's an artistic endeavor. So, it's a special responsibility.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. We encourage everybody to go see it, and we'll look forward to seeing it later.
Yeah.
All right?
Great, thank you.
All right. And I'll have my last word when we come back. Art. How would we live without it? Sometimes art imitates life, sometimes life imitates art. Sometimes art gives us life, sometimes life gives us art. In this region, we're fortunate to have some amazing artists, past and present, whether literary, theatrical, musical, visual, or other art forms. What they give us is valuable and not to be taken for granted. And it's important to make sure the mantle is passed on to future artists waiting in the wings. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Intersections.